And we're live.
Yay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Proverbial Masterminds. I'm Dr. Sherry, and this is Erin Harrigan.
Hey, friends. Welcome back. We are continuing in chapter 17. Sherry, please remind me where we were.
Yeah. So we are in chapter 17, verses 12 through 17? 11 through 17? 11 through 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 11 through 17.
11 through 17. There we go.
Yeah. And so if you're new to the show, welcome. These are just conversations that Erin and I decided to have and then air. So if you're here, you are one of the elite few, and we're happy you're here. And what we do is we are walking through the book of Proverbs, one verse a day. We've been doing that since November or October of 2020. So maybe we should call this the Proverbial Masterminds of Pandemic Wisdom.
Wouldn't
because this show was birthed in the pandemic. So, and then we come live every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes it's pre-recorded. And we review the last 7 verses that we read every day for the last week.
Here we are.
This week we are in chapter 17, verses 11 through 17. So I'll go ahead and read that from the New King James Version.
Oh.
And then we'll go back and we'll reflect.
Sounds like
have
a plan.
Yeah. Okay. So an evil man seeks only rebellion. Therefore, a cruel messenger will be sent against him. Let a man meet a bear robbed of her cubs rather than a fool in his folly. That's like a really powerful juxtaposition. Whoever rewards evil for good, evil will not depart from his household or his house. The beginning of strife is like releasing water. Therefore, stop contention before a quarrel starts. He who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the just, both of them alike are an abomination to the Lord. Why is there in the hand of a fool the purchase price of wisdom, since he has no heart for it? And 17, a friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. I love how just the strong language of Proverbs, it leaves little room for interpretation. And some people might think, well, gosh, that's like really an exaggeration. I don't think so. If you see, well, all of it. Let's just take it verse by verse. So verse 1, do you have a different translation you wanted to share? Or
So I'm in the Passion Translation. I do have my New King James. So in verse 11, rebellion thrives in an evil man. So a messenger of vengeance or merciless angels will be sent to punish him. Like the visual I have for that, like merciless angels, like that's some scary stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like part of me thinks of like Hell's Angels coming up on their motorcycles.
Right.
It's kind of how I imagine Goliath being, right? I was reading in 1 Samuel this morning. Like, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and just the fact that there's no ifs. An evil man seeks rebellion, and this is what's going to happen. A cruel messenger is going to be sent against you. Like, it's if this, then that.
That's right.
Right. So sometimes I think in our lives, we like to think, I like to think, well, if I do this, I mean, that might happen. Right. But what I love about these scriptures is that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And in 12, this grizzly bear, like think about it. I feel like Solomon is going, let me give you an example in nature. Like if you try to take the cubs from a bear mama, she's killing you. Like there just is no,
Right. Yeah. They say my mom used to worry about me because I would go hiking in the Shenandoah by myself in the Shenandoah National Forest. And I still do now, but I have my dogs with me. but she's like, you're gonna run into a bear, you're gonna get mauled, and we've run into bears. I've run into bears and I've never
But you've
gotten
not been
mauled. But the bear, typically the ones that I've seen have been with a cub.
Mm.
And you don't get in between them. You go the other way, right? So this is what it's saying. Like, a man stumbles upon a bear that's just been robbed of her cubs. Like, that's better for you than to be a fool, than to run into a fool,
Yes.
right? Like,
And in the
quick
Passion,
death.
it says then to confront the fool.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, 13. What you got?
Whoever rewards evil for good, evil will not depart from his house. Again, another if then, right? Like, and rewarding evil for good means that somebody does something nice for you and you repay it with a grudge, or you gossip about them, or anything like that. If you repay, if you don't treat in kind the way somebody has treated you, that has done something for you, that's what this is saying. And it's saying evil will not depart from your house. And I think that the reason for that is because if that's your practice, to reward good with evil, then that's what you're going to keep on doing.
Absolutely. And in the Passion, it says, another way of saying this is evil will haunt his house. And I love that visual, because it's like this haunting, and that this person, if, like you just said, if that's how they show up in life all the time, they may not even know. Well,
right.
Actually, let me put it this way. They probably do that because somehow, I tease my husband of this. He doesn't do that, but sometimes this is what I'm about to say. Like, there's this black cloud following them, right? And so they feel that way, but it is a haunting. It's like, this won't go away and I can't shake it. And yeah.
So let's see, we are in now number 14.
So don't be one who is quick to quarrel, for an argument is hard to stop and you never know how it will end. And it says, so don't even start down that road.
Right.
Don't even go
there. Well, it's interesting too, because it's beginning of strife is like releasing water. Like, and if you think about this, if you start an argument, does it immediately stop?
No,
it just grows and grows and grows and grows, right? And then you're like, what are we even fighting about again? Right? Like, it just goes out of control. Well, water is a very powerful force, and this gives us the visual of a dam, and you're breaking the dam.
Yes.
And that is the same thing. Like, that water is going to come through. It is powerful. It is not going to stop. And it's going to destroy everything in its path too.
Yeah. Which earlier today, I was in Ephesians. Oh goodness, where is this? Where it talks about not being angry. I don't remember where it was, but basically what it was saying was, it's not that you won't get angry. Like, you can get angry, but are you going to let it fester? Are you going to let that always be your demeanor? Are you going to lash out? Yeah.
Again, practicing that.
Yes. So good.
So then verse 15 says, he who justifies the wicked and he who condemns the just, both of them are an abomination to the Lord. So that's basically saying that if you protect somebody who's guilty because you like them, right? Because you like them, or if you proclaim guilty somebody who didn't do anything. In other words, both of these are lies, right? So you defend the one who's done wrong, or you throw under the bus the one who's done no wrong.
Right.
Right. Both of those are wrong, and they're an abomination, not just wrong, they're an abomination to the Lord. I need to look up what the
I know. I was just
word
thinking
of
that.
that is.
Are you going to look that up?
I am.
Because abominate, that just sounds. And in the Passion Translation, it says there is nothing God hates more. Nothing. And God and hate, like those two words, you see those two things together and
Yeah.
it's bad.
So here we go. Abomination comes from the root toeba, which means disgusting. It's morally disgusting, abhorrent. It's and it's idolatry. That's interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Abhorrent and morally disgusting. So it's morally disgusting and abhorrent to defend somebody who's done wrong. I used to think of would you turn on a ring light or something? I used to think that I'd be like, how can attorneys defend somebody? And they're not saying they're innocent. They're just giving them access to their rights.
That's exactly true. Yeah.
They're just giving them access to the tools to argue their case.
Right. Ooh. Okay. And 16, the Passion Translation, which I have to crack up about because we just finished paying for college for my daughter. And it says, but she is not a fool. Why pay tuition to educate a fool?
Yeah. Right.
For he has no intention of acquiring true wisdom. You know what I love about the Lord's wisdom, and as we're pursuing this, is that it cannot be bought. You cannot buy this wisdom. The wisdom is here. You can choose to read it or not, and then put it into action.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not just reading it, practicing it. Yeah.
Right. You can't just purchase it.
Well, and if you could, it wouldn't do any good anyway, because you don't appreciate it.
That's it.
Right.
That's
for what it is.
Yes.
The New King James says the fool has no heart for it.
No heart.
The fool has no heart for wisdom. Right. And I think about that too, with regard to, it's so important for us to remember, like, when we have a message, and especially if it's a message of truth, a desire that God's given to us, it's really important for us to make that valuable and not to just give it to anyone who wants it, because if they don't value it, if they don't have a heart for it, they are going to devalue it, and it's going to become devalued in the eyes of others.
Yes.
And so I just say that as an encouragement that, you'd be better off with having, I don't know, 5 people to sell your products or services or whatever to, that are so hungry for it that they can't get enough. Then you work with 5,000 people who could take it or leave it.
Right. Right. And the thing is about the Lord and his wisdom and us acquiring it, like he gives us that free will. We can choose to or not to, right? And God's will be done, whether it's carried out by 5 or 5 billion.
Yep.
Like it's going to get done. And I think that sometimes that idea, I mean, maybe people don't think about it this deeply, but well, then God doesn't need me. He doesn't need me to follow him. Whereas those of us who are believers, we're like, we're clamoring to follow. Like we're thirsty for that living water, Yeah. So good.
Because we have a heart for it.
Because we have a heart for it. 17, go ahead.
A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. I love that, because you've heard
birds of a feather stick together.
Well, speaking of feathers, um, and when you said, I think of fine feathered, when people say, hello, my fine feathered friend. But then I got to thinking about fair weather friends. And here's why I thought about this, because I judge people at the dog park because like I'm a diehard dog park person. I go when it's ice and whatever. I go when it's 12 degrees and windy, and I go when it's 85 degrees, as long as there's some shade somewhere. 95 degrees. So I'm at the dog park with my dogs year round.
Right.
And other people, you start to see all these strange people, these strangers.
Shall remain nameless.
Right. When it's nice outside. It's like, you don't have a heart for this. Go away. Go away. Anyway, the point of that being, a friend loves at all times. A friend is not just a fair weather friend.
Yes.
They are not just there when it's convenient or feels good to them.
Yes.
They are there when it's dirty and nasty and gross
and muddy
and you are like being the most horrible person ever. They don't stop being your friend.
Yeah.
They're not a doormat. That's not what this is saying.
No.
They're there for you. It's like God, he's always there for us when we're ready, when he never denies us when we want to say, okay, God, I'm ready to talk to you now.
Ever.
Right.
Ever. We were talking earlier today in my group coaching, and we had a guest coach, and she shared 1 Timothy 2:13. No. 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy. Hold on. 2 Timothy 2:13. If we are faithless, he remains faithful. He cannot deny himself.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
But he is always there for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
it gives us a choice to pursue him and wisdom, but yes.
And I love that a brother is born for adversity. Like that just confirms the fact that friends are supposed to be there when the chips are down.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be there for each other.
For those that have family challenges, very often they say, my friends are my chosen family, right? Like your friends can be as close as a sister or a brother. So, I just want to acknowledge that in that they're there for you in that adversity. Yeah. Yes.
And if you don't have any friends who are there for you in adversity, Jesus is there. Jesus is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.
That's absolutely true. And he's right there beside you all the time, whether you acknowledge him or not. He is faithful.
Yes.
So good.
So that's what I got. You have anything else for this week?
That's what I got. So join us next week. We're going to be in chapter 17, verses 18, 19, 20, 21, 24.
Yes.
We have to count.
18 to 24.
18 to 24. And continuing this conversation on the kind of the if-thens are in here a little bit. Loving that. Loving that. But chime in. Let us know. Leave a comment. Share with your friends. I mean, we love having this conversation, but we'd love to hear from you too.
Yes.